It's a strange thing because if there had been no piracy back in the day, there would be no anime fandom today. Having said that, we've, at our convention, long had a pretty strong policy against any of the bootlegs and things like that. So there's an issue right now with trying to find a way to fill the gap between fans who want to be engaged with what's new and popular in Japan. They want to be in the know and get the new cool thing. But it takes a while to get that delivered and licensed and everything. So we're kind of at that transition point where I think and hope that the piracy goes out of the way, because it's reaching the point now where it's starting to hurt the industry rather than help it.
I've actually downloaded a copy of one of our books from a BitTorrent server because I wanted to see how it looked. I was searching for reviews of our books online, and one of the search results that came up was our book on a BitTorrent server. So I thought, well, you know, it's out there. I looked at the download numbers. It was like 500 people had downloaded it. And I'll be honest, I don't like it. I wish that people weren't doing it. But if somebody does it, and they look at it and they like it, maybe they will then go out and buy it.
I know in my own experiences, like when I was a poor college student, I used hacked software. Like I played hacked games. But now that I've actually made money and I've been fairly successful and I have the money to do it, I've actually gone back and bought all of the software that I've used and still continue to use. And I think that just like anything else, I think that applies. Like a lot of these kids, like if they didn't download it, it's not like they would buy it anyway.
We get like a mere smidgen of what is actually out there in Japan, and that is highly, highly annoying. I know the companies are doing the best they can to, you know, get new titles out to an English audience, but that takes ages, it takes years.
And not just that, I find that half the titles that the Western companies do decide, it's things that, yeah, we think the Western audience would like this, but it's like, well, how can you know if we may not like this one where this guy murders all these people, and it may have a fantastic storyline, and you...
Not just that, it's like we don't get a choice of what we want to see. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a company deciding for us what they want to license to release. Whereas fan subbers, they will fan sub pretty much anything that comes out on
if they
the
like
Japanese
it, someone
network.
out there will translate it.
Yeah, and you know what? We're not going to buy the Japanese copy anyway, because you know, if that's never coming to English, because it won't get released. But you know what? We'll have an understanding of it, and we may buy the merchandise.
Japanese companies making more of an effort to include Western audiences in mind, including English subtitle options and, you know, giving away the shows for free to be able to stream online. I think that it's becoming more and more irrelevant for people to be fan subbing shows when all of these companies are now making such a big effort to bring the show to an audience at such a shorter time frame than it ever was and ever has been.
Fundamentally, it's definitely bad. And I think the reason for that is because the erosion of revenue that happens as a result of piracy has led to redundancies, layoffs, and a lowering of output as far as anime in Japan goes. So they aren't able to make as many things. They're a lot more conservative about what they do make, and they don't take as many risks because of all that. So as a result of that, you get less and less flexibility and liberty to be creative in that sense. So that's fundamentally why I think it's bad.
自分の場合もいろんな DVD とかを売ったお金をまた次の作品を作る資金にしているわけで、海賊版を買っていただくと次の作品を作る資金が減ってしまって、僕らも困るし、見たいと思っている人も困るので、できれば正規の品を買ってほしい。
With people that that don't buy DVDs or buy merchandise from said show, even though they say that they're diehard fans of it, sometimes they can contradict that by saying that, yeah, they really like the show, but they won't pay a dime for it, because it's hard to explain the mentality behind it. But for the majority of the fans, we do feel that they want to at least contribute back some way.
Yeah, if you can keep downloading and piracy issues down, it could be sustainable, but with...
Yeah, the way it is right now, it's breaking the industry. It's sad that the fans that are so adamant about getting access to their favorite shows
Can be the ones
are the ones that are killing the industry. And they don't realize, I think a lot of people don't realize that, you know, they think they're just hurting the American companies or the dubbing companies by downloading the Japanese shows before they actually hit the shelves. But they're hurting the Japanese studios as well. The Japanese studios make a lot of money off the American studios. And because of that, there's less anime being made in the original Japanese. And it's a really scary thing. So many companies are laying tons of their employees off. And
yeah, bones.
It's very sad. I hope, I keep my fingers crossed, not just because it's what we do, but because I love the industry. I hope it can keep growing.
I think if the fans really realized, each one of the fans that are sitting in their room downloading a show and thinking, oh, this is sweet, you know, I get to get this and I saved myself $20. Woohoo, go me. But they don't think of the big picture, that for every one of them, there are a million others that are going, woohoo, yay me, I saved myself $20. And now you're talking about $20 million that has been, you know, that has been ripped right out of the pockets of these companies that create this anime. They can only do it for so long without making money off of it.
Today is kind of a, you know, instant gratification society, so, you know, they'd rather click and just, you know, BitTorrent it or whatever, but every time they do that, multiply that by 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. A lot of money being taken away from the people that want to keep making it for them, so it's tough.
Back in the day when we were doing a lot of Dragon Ball Z, and we did this thing called the Hummer Tour, where we would they would drive the Dragon Ball Z Hummer. This was before Hummers were considered not appropriate to drive. Yeah. And they had a Hummer that they decked out in all these Dragon Ball Z characters, and they would drive from mall to mall across the country, and we'd fly in and sign in the malls. And so all these little boys would come, and they would be big fans of Trunks, and they'd get there and they'd realize, you're a girl. And they were devastated. And I always felt so bad for these poor little 10-year-old boys
I was devastated.
that thought I had cooties, and then they couldn't appreciate the character, and they were completely out of their element. They didn't know what's going on.
Good, that's awesome.
Done.
Yeah, you can just dub in whatever response you wanted me to say during that.
I've got another doco that's just about anime voice actors yawning. So yeah, it's only a 5-minute documentary.
At the end of a long day, you shouldn't have any problem getting that shot.
We've just got one more question and then we'll finish.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Like,
I never know if I'm like, what, someone, no, that's enough. Last year, it's like, that's it.
the anime gods are cracking down.
Yeah.